Hello class, this is a short example of how to do a normal distribution problem using the concepts of the 68, 95, 99.7 rule. And in this example, let's suppose that x is a random variable that describes the monthly rainfall of a particular city. And we find that x is then normally distributed with a mean of 7 and a standard deviation of 2 inches. And so what that means is that our mean is equal to 7 and our standard deviation, population standard deviation, is equal to 2. So we can actually draw this distribution pretty easily. So if we were to draw it, we can draw our center here at 7. And one standard deviation up from the mean will be then 9, and one standard deviation down from the mean will be 5. I always suggest that you draw a distribution like this because then when you're finding probabilities, it'll give you kind of an eyeball account of what your value should be. So this then would be 1. Good. And so here we have then a normal distribution with our 3 standard deviations. So again, 1 standard deviation away from the mean has 68% of the data, 2 standard deviations have 95% of the data, and almost all the data, or 99% of our data, is within 3 standard deviations away from the mean. And so let's suppose we wanted to find the probability of x being less than, let's say, 3 inches. What we can do is we can then actually just shade in the region that we're talking about. So that would be then this area here. So anything below 3, what is then that proportion or probability? Well, we can use this 68, 95, 99.7 rule. Because the fact that it falls below 3, then and 3 is our second standard deviation away from the mean, we can use the fact that we know that in between these two standard deviations, 3 and 11, we have 95% of our data. This is from the 68, 95, 99.7 rule. And so what that means is that what's left out here in these tails? Well, total left out here would just be simply 100% minus the 95%, which would be then 5%, right? Well, since the normal distribution is symmetric, we'll know that we have to cut this 5% in half because half of it will be for this stuff up here, 2.5%. That's basically the probability of being greater than 11 inches. And then the last then lower 2.5%. And so by using the 68, 95, 99.7 rule, we can easily see that the probability of x, which describes the monthly rainfall of a particular city, the probability of it being less than 3 inches is simply just equal to then 0.025 or 2.5%. So that's a short way that we can actually use then the 68, 95, 99.7 rule to do a probability problem.